Hello, and welcome to another look at being married. There's a cool little thing with the spelling there. You can check it out when you look at the title. As the title would suggest, I'm here to do my very first episode with my wife, Caitlin. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I'm glad to have you here. So it's been a busy past week and a half, 2 weeks in MMA. You want to get right into it?
Yeah. So today we have... I'm really excited for our MMA trivia games.
Okay,
for
awesome.
You guys. But first, we will go into a couple topics. The first being the Conor and Khabib press conference. Christian, now that you've had a week or two to digest it, I think everyone should get your thoughts. And I have to be honest, I did not watch it, but I did read a little bit about it.
Okay.
And so I'm wondering, I know you're very long-winded.
Absolutely.
I'm wondering if you could condense the press conference into a couple sentences for everyone.
All right. We're going to give it the
short recap.
Okay. They're both late, as always. Especially Conor. He's always late. They're both late. They get there. Conor throws his tie out the car window to a fan, so he doesn't have a tie for the press conference. First time he hasn't worn a tie in a while, although I guess sometimes he wears polos. So Conor shows up. They get in there. Conor starts promoting his whiskey. Then he starts talking crap about Khabib. Then he talks crap about Khabib's dad. Then he talks crap about Khabib's country and his country's people. And then he talks crap about Khabib's manager. And then everyone goes home. And all throughout that, he drank whiskey and promoted his whiskey that's for sale, which is called Proper 12 Irish Whiskey. So that was pretty much the press conference in a short summary.
Wonderful.
All right.
So yeah, I think we all know that from what I did read, is kind of what I expected to read. It was a lot of Conor and his game plan to trash talk and get into his opponent's head.
Of course.
I feel like we all knew that's what was going to happen too. So I guess I do have a question for you. Do you think that Khabib's team worked with him at all on his mental preparation? And do you think that Conor even got in his head at all?
I think that Conor bothered him when he said some of the more personal things about his father and his country and all those politics. But I don't really think it will affect the fight at all. And I think that I don't think they're doing any special training, but I do believe that Khabib's manager, coaches, teammates are all saying to him on a daily basis, don't let this guy get in your head. Don't worry about it. Like after the fight, he's just going to give you a hug and tell you good fight anyways. Like he's just doing this to try and get in your head. So I'm sure he's getting constant encouragement, but I don't think they're doing any special preparation.
Okay.
All right. You got anything else on that topic?
Well, I've always wondered, since I'm not an MMA super fan, I've always kind of wondered what happens between the press conference and the actual fight.
Well, first off, the press conference being a general term. In this case, the press conference happens to be, I think it was about 3 weeks out from the actual fight. Or maybe only 2 weeks. When was it?
It was about 3 weeks, because it was a week to go.
Okay.
And the fight's October 6th.
Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, so, what day are we at? Okay, so, so anyways, in that case, but there's also times where press conferences are, people are talking to each other 3 months before a fight, so that depends. In this case, 3 weeks out from a fight, you got 2 more weeks of hard preparation, and then you're going to have a week of a lot of recovery. You're not going to be doing any hard sparring the week of the fight, and you're working on getting your... you're working on getting your nutrition really tightened up to where your weight cut's going to be as easy as possible. So that's really what you're doing leading in. But if you want to know more about, about all of what I think is going to go into this fight, I'm going to be doing a preview show this Sunday. This video should be getting uploaded. We're recording this Friday night. I'll probably get this
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I'll probably get this uploaded tomorrow morning. Sunday I'll plan on doing my preview show. So I'll get into all of that in very good detail on Sunday.
Awesome.
So yeah.
I look forward to it.
Awesome.
So moving on, John Jones.
Mm-hmm.
I know he was recently in the current MMA news, but I know nothing. So if you want to touch on that subject for a minute.
Okay. So, John Jones failed a drug test for Turinabol over a year ago, last July. And against Daniel Cormier, his win was overturned, his belt was stripped, it was given back to Daniel Cormier, and he was indefinitely suspended until they resolved his case. It was expected that he would get a minimum of 2 years, a maximum of 4 years of suspension, and instead he ended up with 15 months. How did this happen? Well, first off, it is worth noting the amount that was found in the system was very small. It is also worth noting that USADA indicated in the official paperwork stuff, whatever you call it, that the amount in his system was not only very small, but also that he failed none of the tests surrounding the test he failed, which indicates that he must not have been taking this stuff in any type of quantity, as it stays in your system for far longer than that. So that was one thing to note. Another thing to note, though, that is not quite as positive of a thing for John Jones fans to reference, is that there's a clause in there that's referenced in the deal they worked out for him to only get 15 months. Which, first off, worth noting, it's the only time USADA's ever given out a suspension that's not in increments of 6. So that's kind of weird that it's 15 months. The 15 happens to get him off at the end of October when the big UFC fight that they need a main event for is November 3rd. Apparently he's not going to fight there because he doesn't want to, which I wonder if the UFC knew that when they worked that deal out with USADA. John Jones definitely messed up and he's irresponsible, but I'm not sure if he's a cheater, and USADA apparently isn't sure either, so they went pretty light on him. But unfortunately, as I said, there's one thing that's not as good for John Jones fans, which is that USADA in John Jones' deal references a clause indicating that John Jones will continue to and has and will and continue to provide information in active anti-doping cases, and failure to do this will result in him being resuspended. And that's interesting because his manager and his coach came out and said, yeah, John Jones isn't like snitching on anyone or doing anything like that. And then USADA put out a statement, or at least I heard they did. I need to confirm this, but I read that that USADA then said any clause we referenced is accurate. So we'll see what's going on with that. It could be one theory I heard floated, and then I'll drop this topic. But one theory I heard floated is that John Jones' brothers are in the NFL. He has 2 brothers in the NFL. One of them has failed a drug test. Another one got in some trouble with some recreational drugs. And obviously John Jones has had his troubles. One thought is that he could be giving up someone who supplies steroids to NFL players or something like that. But we'll see what happens. Next topic.
Oh, well, before we get to our last topic,
okay,
I think that people should know that at all times you have like at least 3 tabs pulled up on your phone that are MMA news, MMA podcast, MMA shows, MMA websites. So I would say that it's safe to say you stay up to date.
Absolutely. I stay up to date.
So it makes me really happy and excited when sometimes, and only sometimes, I know things at the same time you do, or maybe even before. Only because I follow some fighters on Instagram, but still makes me excited. So I knew about Joanna and the Valentina fight.
So you do know.
I did know that is announced. I'm a fan of both ladies. And I have a question for you about the weight class.
Yeah,
is it,
shoot.
So the last time I heard you talk, I know that you were saying you didn't think that Joanna would want to move weight classes, that you thought she would stay and try and be champion again at that weight class. So It sounds like that's not the case, so I'm a little confused on, is it a new weight class, or did they move up or down?
I got you. So here we go.
Hopefully not down, because she's already pretty tiny.
Yeah, well, she wouldn't need to cut any more weight. That wouldn't be good for her. She wouldn't be able to make a lower weight class. So yes, she is finally moving up. That is what's going on. The weight division is somewhat new. It got its first champion earlier this year off of the Ultimate Fighter season as the strawweight division initially started. The division is called flyweight, just like Demetrius Johnson's division, or I guess Henry Cejudo's division now in the men's weight classes, but it's called women's flyweight. Valentina, this is her natural weight class. I really think it is Joanna's natural weight class too. She's huge at strawweight, and I think she cuts too much weight. So I'm really glad she's moving up. In my opinion, this is going to be the first legitimate title fight, because I'm just not really taking the flyweight title fight at the end of the tough finale with a short notice replacement because one girl got sick trying to cut weight. I just don't really count that as being a legitimate first title. So in my opinion, this is the first extremely elite UFC women's flyweight fight we'll have, and I can't wait for it. I think it's going to be great. And yeah, as far as the division goes, kind of a new division, not entirely, but in my opinion, this is the true start of it.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we'll hear more about your opinion on
Absolutely.
one of your preview shows.
Absolutely. I'll be doing one for that fight. Don't worry.
Awesome. So I think it's game time.
All right. Yeah. Let's get into some trivia.
Awesome. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to kick it off?
I would like, I'd like you to start.
Okay. Alrighty, so my first question, taking it back. In what year did UFC 1 take place?
No. Oh, no. Okay, so first off, I watched the anniversary documentary, but I watched it not in the year it was made, so that's no help. Because if I watched it when it was made, like when it was first debuted, then I would at least know it was 20 years before that, but I don't have that information. My gut tells me that it's 93, and I should go with my gut. There's part of me that thinks maybe it's like 92 or something, but I'm gonna say 93.
Well, there's a reason why people say go with your gut, because it is 93.
All right, awesome.
And I do actually, this is my round. I'm going to have a bonus round. So
okay.
I'm electing that this is my bonus point round. So my bonus points. What were the only 2 rules in UFC 1?
Okay. So I'm gonna think out loud here, so none of these are official things yet. So I would say that, well, first off, I will go ahead and say that eye gouging was absolutely a rule. You can't eye gouge.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. So then you have the debate of, was the other one groin striking or biting? And I would have to think, I know that in some UFC fights there was groin strikes. And I would have to think that was probably towards the beginning, and why would it have been illegal in UFC 1 and not illegal in whatever other one it was in that I saw the video of one dude winning by hitting the other dude in the groin a bunch of times. Yeah, you should see the video. It's pretty crazy. And biting is obviously not cool when you're in a fight, so I'm going to have to go with biting.
That is correct.
All right, awesome.
So we got all those correct.
Okay.
3 points awarded to Christian.
3 points.
Yes.
All right.
So interesting fact that UFC 1 was a tournament style. It had the brackets and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So there were no weight classes. And hair pulling, headbutting, groin strikes,
Okay.
and fish hooking were all allowed.
Oh man, yeah, fish hooking. How can you make biting illegal if you're allowed to stick your fingers in someone's mouth? That seems like that's not fair for the person who's got the fingers stuck in their mouth. It's like, I'm not allowed to bite you, but you're allowed to do this to me. Alright. So I guess I've got one for you, right?
Do you?
I think I do. I've got a couple. Okay, so first one I'm going to ask you is who it was the first ever double champion in the UFC, meaning that they have both belts at the same time, not like 4 years later, like George St. Pierre. Like,
Okay.
both at the same time. First person to do it in the UFC.
Well, I feel like I hope I'm not wrong, because that would be a little bit embarrassing. I'm going to say Conor McGregor.
Yes,
Okay.
that is correct. All right, for a bonus, do you know who the second one is?
Can I have a hint?
One of my favorite fighters.
They're all your favorite.
No, this one's very special place in my heart.
How about a hint of the first letter of her first name?
Well, no woman has done it yet, so it's not a her. I'm not going to give you points for this, but I'll just tell you that it's DC. DC when he beat Stipe. Now,
Okay.
I know you know he fought Stipe, but he technically is...
That wasn't a hint. You just gave me the answer.
I know, because I'm not going to give you points once I give you too many hints. But, I know obviously it can be a little confusing because the whole thing with John Jones, like, beat him, but then they took it away from him. It's a little crazy, but he technically is, the light heavyweight champ and the heavyweight champ. And he's my man. I love DC. All right, what you got next for me? Well, actually, hang on. I can tack on. Let me give you one more little part of that. What? That's too easy. Never mind. You go ahead.
Okay. So my second question for you.
Okay.
I feel like, at least when I've been watching MMA and UFC fights, I feel like a lot of fights I see happen in Vegas. So when you think of the UFC, often I feel like a big city people think of is Vegas. So I have a question, and that is, what was the first UFC event to actually take place in Vegas? And I'm going to help you out here with multiple choice. Was it A, UFC 3 in 1994? Was it B, UFC 33 in 2001? Or was it C, UFC 13 in 1997?
Okay. Well, my first thought would be UFC 33 because that was a huge fight with Tito Ortiz. And they had a bunch of trouble with the pay-per-view, and it was right after September 11th, which you just said it was 2001. So I think that's what it was, but there's a part of me that thinks that surely they went there before then because it's Vegas. Why would they not have something weird like cage fighting in Vegas when it's a brand new thing? So I feel like I might be wrong, but I am going to say, I know it wasn't 3 because I know that one was in some backwoods place. But I'm going to go with, which I should be careful because I live in...
Backwoods?
I should be careful because we live in the Carolinas. But I will go ahead and guess officially UFC 33.
All right, well, you are correct again. It was
right.
UFC 33 in 2001. Was in Vegas. Any guesses on where UFC 3 was?
UFC 3. I'm thinking it was probably in... I'm going to guess, as a safe guess at least, I'm going to say Alabama.
That is incorrect. It was actually in our great state of
Oh,
North Carolina.
Oh no! I gotta
Charlotte.
be careful. Well, Charlotte is a lovely place.
And UFC 13 in 97, that was in Augusta, Georgia.
Okay, all right. So I got one for you.
What's our score? Are we all
Oh
tied
man.
up?
Well, what did you get?
Well, you have 4 points.
You've got 1 point, right?
1 point.
I'm confused.
Oh, yeah, you have bonus questions. Okay.
Yeah. You had... Well, no, I gave you a bonus question. You didn't get it.
Oh,
So you
thanks.
got 1 point, and then you missed out on the 2. So I'm about to give you a chance to get some more points. Okay. Who had the most ever women's title defenses?
I'm going to say Rousey.
All right. That is correct.
Yay!
Part 2 for the bonus points. 1 each. Okay.
Okay.
So right now you got 2 points now. You had a chance to get 2 more. Part A, the easy part, in my opinion. Who has the second most?
Probably Joanna.
Yes. All right. Part 2, or B. I said letters. Part B. What number is it that Rhonda has? That's the record. Which, by the way, Joanna was only one number behind, if that helps you at all.
That does not help me
Joanna
at all
would have
because
tied it if she'd beaten Rose.
that doesn't help me because I don't know the number, but I'm just going to randomly guess and say 6.
That is correct.
Nuh-uh.
Yes, it is.
Woohoo!
All right. Good job. Okay. You got another one for me?
I do. This is my last question for you.
Okay.
So everyone should know also how much we like cats. We have 3 cats. 3 beautiful boy cats.
They're kind of bad sometimes.
Well, it ties into my very last question. What is the name of Holly Holmes' cat?
Oh, no. I literally have seen so many pictures of her cat. I've seen her talk about her cat on Submission Radio when she's Skyping, and she loves her cat. I mean, I feel like it's something pretty stereotypical. Like it's like Mr. Kitty or like Cuddles or Snuggles or something. I don't know. I don't know.
Are those typical kitty names?
Maybe not. Maybe not. Go ahead and give it to me.
Okay, her cat's name is Buster.
Ah. Okay. See, that's kind of similar to those silly names I was given. All right.
So you're saying her cat's name is Silly?
You know, you want to call the person Buster.
I know some people named Buster.
Well, I feel bad for them. All right. Well, I've got one more for you if you want it.
Okay.
All right. What was the biggest fight ever in UFC? You've already won on points, I believe, in our trivia, so you
I don't know. I
have
think it might be tied up.
It might be. Yeah,
We should have probably been keeping score.
You should have done a better job.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna say, and I might be wrong, but the name.
It is tied up, you're right.
Conor McGregor comes to mind again.
Okay, yes, Conor McGregor is a part of it.
And I feel like Jose Aldo is a really big name. And especially, among Brazilian fans, he's definitely a big name. So I am going to go with the McGregor-Aldo fight.
All right. Okay, now would be a good time for me to inform you of the fact that Brazil does not have pay-per-view. So they watch the fight on regular TV. And
they don't have to pay for the fights?
No, they don't.
That's not fair.
I know, right? Neither does UK, or at least they didn't on their last TV deal. And
so when are you flying me to Brazil
I
to
know,
watch
right?
some
So you
UFC
watch some
fights?
free UFC pay-per-views. So no, it was actually Conor versus Nate Diaz too. Because everyone wanted to see what happened after he got beat.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure Conor versus Nate Diaz 1 is the second highest.
Okay, yeah, well, that makes sense.
Okay, so that's okay. We'll give you a chance for well, I don't know. Let me think if I've got another.
Okay, I have a tiebreaker.
All right.
I'll ask you one more. You can ask me one more. We'll see if that breaks the tie at all. So, going back to my first question, UFC 1. We're gonna get real deep in UFC history here.
Okay.
Who won UFC 1?
Oh no, you're gonna look so bad. Oh, of course I know the answer to this. Hoist Gracie won UFC.
That is correct.
Okay. I don't even know why I hesitate on that. Of course I know that. If you ask me who won UFC 3, I might completely screw up because
next time.
I know there was one where Gracie got injured and exhausted and couldn't go on, so he got pulled and therefore he didn't win because it was just a tournament. It wasn't like you had to get beat, you just had to not win, so if you got pulled out. All right, I got one more for you. So
okay.
Okay. Let me think. All right, maybe I don't have one more for you. I gotta think.
You just want to win.
I know. I just want to win. I gotta think of a good one for you, though. All right, I'm gonna give you one. Okay. Who has the most ever men's UFC title defenses?
Ugh.
You better know this, or I'm gonna be offended. And what number is it?
Okay. Is it Daniel Cormier?
It is not.
Is it Conor McGregor?
No.
What?
It's Demetrius Johnson.
Oh, I wouldn't have guessed that. No offense to Demetrius Johnson.
Well, he has, and he had 11. At least I sure think it was 11.
That's a lot.
Until he lost to Henry Cejudo. So, which I don't think he lost that fight, as I said on my recap show, and as many other intelligent people said. So, anyways, we're gonna get off here. I had a great time here with you. I hope you had a good time.
I did.
All right. So we will look forward to being back with you next time on another look at Being Married. And as I said before, check out the title, see the cool spelling, because it's really hard to say it in any cool way like the spelling shows. Until next time, we'll see you later. Take care.